We good? We live?
Great.
Straight on your end?
Hmm?
Good on your end?
Yeah, good on my end.
Oh, okay. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Feliz Nuevo Año. Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, today, tomorrow, yesterday, whatever time zone you in. What's going on? What's popping? What's happening?
What's popping?
What's happening? Thank you for tuning in on another episode of JustCuz podcast. We're starting off this new year with an episode. We said we was going to take a break, but I guess we just couldn't stay way too long.
I know. I missed it.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
I missed coming on here.
Ah, well, look at that. Well, I guess we're gonna get into it. Well, first and foremost, let me introduce my co-host, my A1, my battle buddy, my ace. You know what I'm saying? Molly.
What's going
Okay.
on?
All right. And you know who I am. I'm Rashad, aka Bruce Leroy, because I got that glow.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? All is well and loving basketball.
Absolutely. All is well. So you told me to let's start this. You told me to watch Best Man chapters.
The final chapters?
Our final chapters, yes. Um, it was really good.
You watched the entire series?
I did. I did it
Oh,
all
okay.
in one day.
Oh,
I can't stop watching it. It was so good.
it was. I'm not gonna front. It was good. Like I kept hearing. Well, I heard that it came out, and I was like, man. Well, I was a fan of the first two movies. Not gonna front. And then so like one day I was I was off, and I was just like, well, let me check out the first episode. Man, had me rolling, but it was good. Like the series had me rolling. Like first of all,
Shout out to Shelby.
yeah, like the the talent of like all these individuals that's in the first, like for them to, because a lot of them like it was like because like it was Regina's Hall first movie, the first movie, the
Yeah.
first Best Man. That was her first movie role.
Okay. I
You
didn't
know
know.
what I mean? Yes, that was like her first movie role, and like to see like the amount of talent that's in this cast, that's in the Best Man, is ridiculous. And like everybody's like comedic timing in the movie is amazing. Like Terrence Howard, hilarious. Tay Diggs is hilarious. Of course, Regina Hall is hilarious. Like, yo, like it is crazy the amount of talent that's like in this series. It's basically just one long movie broken up into 8 parts.
Yeah.
And like when I watched the first episode, I was like, it has to be like they must be doing like a season two. But then like they wrapped it up in like the last episode, and the last episode was like a full hour.
Yeah.
Because every time they like it broke, it went to the dark screen. I thought the episode was over, and then they like came back, and I was like, man, we still going?
I couldn't stop. I was just like, listen, I don't care what's going on. I just need a day, just need hours. And don't bother me. Don't come in my room because this is what I'm watching. So I was just like, man, I don't know who exactly was the writer for the whole script or writers, but they did an excellent job because it like captured everything or a good amount of good topics would need to be discussed in any community, not just a Black community, but any
Mm-hmm.
community. Like it's a lot of topics in there. I'm not going to dive into everything. My mom, she asked me the other day, she was just like, I need Peacock. I'm just like, okay, here we go. So she's like, I can't get on. So I'm just like, okay, let me go ahead and create an account You know, I'll give you the login, you know. But then she was just like, well, tell me what happened. I'm just like, I don't know if I can do that. You know,
Ah,
she
can't.
wants to know beforehand. It's just like, I don't want to ruin the surprises, but
Mm,
I can say it was really good. And I saw a lot of people commenting on it, and I'm glad that I just kept scrolling because it
mm,
was just like, no, I don't, I want to see it on my own and
mm,
experience it on my own. So I thought it was really good. The actors and actresses, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like you said, like it wasn't even sort of like other shows or movies where it's not believable. it
mm.
it makes you think that it's real. Like, okay, we're going through this, we're going through this, you know, I want to get my ex back and I'm gonna go here. And it's just like, man, it's different things that go on an everyday basis with real people. It was just captured on a movie, I guess. So
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was phenomenal. Couple things like Robert Townsend directed a lot of those episodes.
really.
Yeah, when I watched the credits at the end and I seen director and it said Robert Townsend, I said,
Oh,
really? Yeah. If you go back and look, or just go or Google the series and look at who directed some of those episodes, and Robert Townsend directed quite a few of those episodes.
I didn't know that. I'm just
Mhm.
like, what is
Yeah.
going on? You know,
Man.
I love a Meteor Man.
Yo.
Now we got everybody walking around like a meteor man with the gold hair.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody everybody don't know about Meteor Man and what Meteor Man has started, or who Cisco. I'm telling you, I don't know how true, but I believe Cisco was a fan of Meteor Man, and that's why he went with blonde gold hair.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and then I was thinking about it, and I was like Best Man was like Boomerang, but just in a different part of the city.
Yeah, it definitely was. Definitely was.
It was because Boomerang was like, because I remember seeing some old interviews of like Eddie Murphy talking about Boomerang, and he was saying how like people was like, it's not believable because of it was African Americans in a successful light. Like they were all like successful business people, and like they most of them was all working in this marketing business, and they was in the marketing, but like they were all successful, and like people was like, because the movie came out in the '80s, and they was all like this black people in charge and blah 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 blah, and it was like that was the unbelievable part of the movies,
Yeah.
but to see the best man in the series and how the movies in the series is just reminded me of like it was Boomerang, but just a double part of the series, or another story, and you know what I mean. So I thought it was dope.
I could relate to Nia Long's character. It's Robin, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can relate to her a lot. You know, just being a woman in the corporate America scene and what should I say? Compromising yourself, working so hard. And I was just like, okay, I can relate to that because, you know, sometimes, you know, when you're at work or, you know, you're going through your hours or whatever, you overwork yourself, you're exhausted, and you
Mhm.
keep going just because you got to get, you know, projects or, you know, whatever out the door. And it's just like, man, it made me think for a couple of days after, like, okay, I need to get myself in order, like for me, uh,
Mm.
and to take, you know, my vacation time, my self-care time. I keep saying that within the last year, you know, my goal was to do self-care quarterly uh trips. So my sister told me that she was like, just like, you need to do this, like for you definitely need to do it, like no matter what, always schedule a trip somewhere. And I was just like, okay, you know, I started last year, I was thinking, you know, we're on a good path. I got my schedule together and then, you know, whatever happened. So, this year, as a reminder, after watching a movie, I need to go back to that and also find me a counselor or a therapist is what I should say. So that's what I plan on doing.
I can dig that. I can dig that. As a matter of fact, I saw a video of this woman on one of these guys I follow who has a podcast, but she was saying that like she would go on Skyscanner, right? It's a website that scans for flights.
Mm-hmm.
She was go on Skyscanner and she would set the max price for tickets at $100.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would check she would oh no, she would set the destination to anywhere, right? Destination anywhere, and then like she would then filter it by saying cheapest month.
Mm-hmm.
So she would click on cheapest month and then she would like find whatever was like the cheapest flights wherever it was going, and she would pay like $100 for her ticket.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've been on that website before. I gotta look that up.
I have. I've been on it. I've used it quite a few times.
Really?
Yeah. Just yeah, but I've used it a few times. The person's flights and stuff like that. But like, yeah, like just fine. Like, and you can do that. Like, you go on Skyscanner and you pick like cheapest month, and then she would. That's when she would. That's how she planned her vacations and like travel the world.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that blue water is definitely calling me.
You keep talking about it. You keep talking about this blue water. I'm telling, because you're not gonna find it where you at. Unless you know, right?
But it's gonna be brown or black, right? No.
Yep.
Yeah, so I definitely gotta get myself in order. It was just a good reminder. You know, you definitely have to enjoy life and have good people around you that are going to support you and whatever that you go through. I thought that was a key point as well. Each of them were dealing with different things and they all were there for one another. It reminds me of me and my best friends. You know, we don't put it on social media, but we meet probably once a month.
Hmm.
That was our goal last year, to meet at least once a month, you know, for dinner or lunch, whatever, and you know, just see each other instead of going months at a time. You know, we talk to one another, but it was just like, okay, we definitely need each other to
Mm.
support one another in the process, and I thought that that was, you know, really good uh to keep going. And you know, it helps us grow as individuals too. Like, you know, it keeps us on a path, our accountability partners. If something is not right, you know, they check me, I check them, um whichever it may be. If they need advice, if I need advice, if you know, if I tell them, hey, this is going on, normally they like, you know, what, how do you want to handle this? So it's good. It's great to have those type of friendships and um to also teach our kids what it's like to have real friendships as well. So just like on the movie or the series.
Yeah. Accountability partners.
Mm-hmm.
They be coming in clutch. I ain't gonna front. Cause I got a homeboy that I work out with, and like he will hit me up and be like, "Hey, we working out in the morning."
Yeah.
I'll be like, "All right, cool." It be days I'm like, "Man, I don't feel like working out," or "I'm good." Like I'm not gonna do it. But then he'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, let's work out in the morning." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
But he's been slacking, so I'm about to hit him up because I ain't talked to him in a few days, so I don't know what's going on with him.
Now I saw, who was it? One of our cousins put on Facebook, stay out of those people's way, the regular people at the gym, meaning
Yeah, that was I know who you talking about because I remember that post. I commented on that post.
did you?
I did because they was like, all y'all New Year's resolutions about to be in these people's way at the gym.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what she's talking about. Luckily, right now, I don't have that problem. But I
Yeah.
remember in the past, I'm like, oh, it's January. So usually you take about 2 weeks off in the first 2 weeks of January. You take off from the gym and you find you do some other type of workouts because everybody New Year's resolution is about to be in the gym.
I went past Planet Fitness last night. The whole parking lot was full.
Back,
I'm just
wasn't
like, really, y'all?
back like free before 10.
Come on.
Yep. Everybody want to get in shape the first 2 weeks of January. As soon as Martin Luther King weekend come around,
It'll be a wrap.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh my
It's-
God.
so you might as well wait till about the end of the month. They all start weeding out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that place was packed last night. I was just like, y'all cannot be serious at all. Like, come on now.
It's
And
crazy.
right now it's just like it's people are still getting sick. It makes me, anxious about that too, being in, you know, a common area with a whole bunch of people. I'm still not used to that yet. So, yeah. Mm-mm. No.
Mm.
Let me do my stuff at home.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah.
Man. All right, but jeez.
Yeah. So what else were on the episode, the key topics? Oh my goodness. I like the way that they wrote uh the guy that's married to Regina Hall. Is it
Oh,
Mitch? Uh
Merch.
Merch, yeah.
Character's name's Merch, yeah.
Merch. Yeah. I love the way they wrote that in there because and I could relate to that too. When you're always nice, I don't know if you're like this, but you're always nice. And that was my whole 2022. Always nice. And then it's just like they're playing with me. Like, you're really playing with me. And it took me to get like merch of I had to go off. Like
Mm,
to let it out,
mm.
in a sense. So I could relate to him too. Um, no more nice. You can be nice, but don't let people run over top of you. And
Absolutely.
and I think, you know, I was in a sense of, always stay positive, be optimistic, all that good stuff. But then you gotta face reality of what is going on. Like, no, stop being so nice to people and letting people run over you. So yeah, I ended my 2022 with that. None of that anymore.
None, none of that is right.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And it was good. It was good because for me, because if all of what was in 2022 didn't happen, I would probably be like, oh no, like I told you, I'm not going to any more events where I know you are disrupting my peace. Absolutely not. Don't even ask me. It's gonna be a flat out no because mm-mm, not
Yeah. Hey, yeah, it is. Well, I'm glad you identified it. I'm glad you identified it within yourself and you're putting in some courses of actions to correct it.
boundaries. Boundaries are
Absolutely.
very important to put into place because if you don't put them in there, it's just like if I figure like this, if it keeps happening to you, you can't blame other people. You're the problem at the end of the day.
Fool
Like
me once, shame on me. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
so I have to take accountability for my stuff. And I can't do it anymore.
I can dig it because I don't be I don't waste no time. If I get that vibe that you doing some funny stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm gonna I'm not gonna be nice, but my interactions with you is gonna become real light.
Yeah.
And
Limit.
yeah, my interactions can become real limited, and you go do you. Let you go ahead and live your life, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna live my life, and I'm gonna maintain my peace.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
No, not at all. Not at all. And sometimes it hurts, but it has to be done. Doesn't matter who it is in your life, and I noticed, once I put my foot down and I identified it right then and there what
Hmm.
was going on, I didn't hear from them people no more.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's funny. Cause I had an old friend who I had reconnected with last year. And like we hung out a couple times, hung out a few times, and I was just like, your
Something
energy's off.
wasn't right.
Huh?
Something wasn't right.
Mm-mm.
The vibe was off.
Yeah. Energy was off.
Oh,
So I was like, nah, I'm good. So
yeah.
my interactions became limited. And then they ended up moving. But they live here for like years.
Really?
And we never connected. And yeah. And then like randomly one day we connected. We hung out a couple times, and then well, yeah, it's got a different vibe. So interactions became limited, and then they ended up moving. So that worked itself out.
Really?
I haven't talked to him since.
I had an old classmate. We went to school in middle school together. We were real tight too. And she hit me up, I would say about a year ago. And apparently we dated the same guy at the same time. I didn't know.
Mm.
Started tripping. And she hit me up like a year ago, and she was just like, I always wanted to know how you were doing. I was just like, I'm doing great, honey. But if you're looking for a friendship, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Mm.
Leave that in seventh and eighth grade. I'm straight.
Man,
No
that's
hard feelings, but mm-mm.
man, that's interesting. Cause like I had a high school friend. Like we was cool, but we wasn't tight. Like
Yeah,
see each other at schools, like, hey, what's up? When we see each other around town, it was like, hey, what's up? Cool, cool, cool. But it wasn't until like the past couple years, like we connected and like this we became real cool. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the stuff that we talk about, the similar things that we like is the conversations and stuff like it's dope. And I was just like, man, it's kind of like why we ain't connect when we was in high school like this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like but it's interesting. This is interesting how like all this time go by, and then like the last couple times I came home. One time I came home last year, and we had a real good time. Like we chopped it up, talked about
really,
stuff. Yeah, I was yeah, we had chopped it up, had a real good time.
yeah. You
Yeah,
know, it's really weird. I can agree with that too. I have a lot of friends from high school that I didn't even think that we were cool like that. We were cool,
yeah.
but I feel like it's more of a connection now. Um,
Hmm.
and we hit each other up on Facebook and all that, Instagram, whatever the case may be. Like I have a really good guy friend um that I talk to all of the time. And it's just
Hmm.
like, but we were good friends in high school too. So it's just like, you know, it's like when let me take you on a date. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
Nah, nah, not today.
Nope. Mm-mm.
said, absolutely not. Jeez.
Absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Absolutely not, man.
I think some friendships don't need to go in that direction as relationships, and I'm okay with that. So I believe that leave that where it is. You call me, I can call you. Whatever the case may be. But yeah, I believe in good friendships for real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. They come in. They do come in handy. They do come in clutch. You know what I mean, sometimes you need that objectivity, and you got some thoughts, some pondering some ideas or some you processing. You need some of that objectivity sometimes.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna give it to you real, and not tell you what you want to hear or sugarcoat.
yeah, because we can get to arguing. Like it's been
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I we've argued about a couple of things. It's just like, do you really have my best interest? Because but then again, sometimes we're not ready to hear the truth. So um
Mm,
I gotta respect that. So yeah, definitely. And then also, we were discussing the other day about one of our cousins has reached out to me and he was asking the first thing that he asked me was, we were so close when we were younger. What happened? And I was just like, I don't know. And he was just like, we all started having kids and um getting in no relationships. No.
I ain't had no kids.
Uh, what what you
I didn't have no
I
kids.
do. But I just thought about it. I was just like, it's just interesting how I will say Tolson's have a strong connection. I don't know what it is, but I needed that phone call the other day. He needed
Mm,
that phone call the other day. And it was just like, okay, we we need to support each other.
mm,
We need to link up with each other more. Don't wait until family reunions or whatever to make phone calls or text messages. If we have each other's phone number, you know, hey, I love you, hey, how you doing, whatever the case may be. I try to make sure that, well, I'm trying to be better in this year, with reaching out to people that are close to me in my orbit, um, to see how they're doing, because
yeah,
life is life can get real crazy.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's what it is. Life is what happened to us. When we was young, we had no responsibilities. We ain't had nothing to do, but just
But
be us. Hang out and
yeah,
whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Doing going to sleepovers at each other's house and stuff like that. But life happened. Like, uh, what I'm saying? School was over, and we gotta
figure it out.
enter adulthood. Like, we gotta figure out life, and we gotta figure out who we are. And it's like our interests, realign or for whatever reason or whatever happened. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. But now we're at a point where, like, what what used to interest us or what we used to do is no longer we no longer value anymore, I guess I could say, or doesn't have as much value as it used to.
Yeah,
And I feel like, we're starting to slow down, as far as like being busy, as far as like doing things out, going out or hanging out or constantly on the move. Like, we're starting to settle. Like, we sitting at, we kind of like enjoy peace. We
yeah,
don't want to be out in these streets like we used to be, or doing all that stuff. So it's like, you start to think about, like, man, the things we used to do, how we used to be close, how we used to hang out, and we don't do that as much anymore. And then, like, we those of us started to move, and we got our own families, or like you said, we got kids, or y'all got kids.
yeah.
But so, just priorities and responsibilities change. But now it's starting to get a little different. I mean, we're losing elders and we're losing cousins and siblings.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's starting to put things in perspective. And like when we get together, it's kind of like, man, we haven't we haven't been getting together like we used to. You know what I mean? So there was a gap and with our family coming together, and
yeah,
that's caused a problem. So and now it's like now some family members feel like I haven't seen that side of our family in so long. They don't know they're not comfortable, which
yeah.
is sad. Like it sucks. You know what I mean? But
It
you
does.
only you can only encourage, but it takes the individual to put action.
Absolutely. I just feel like, we're gonna touch on, that whole feeling uncomfortable in a later
Mhm.
episode, but it's just interesting. I don't necessarily feel that uh on this side of the family, but I can feel it on other sides. So I can relate to the people that, to a certain point. But I will say this, being a black sheep, I think, in my opinion, is not always a negative thing. Like, being a black sheep can mean you're different. You're unique in your own way. You move different than the common people because hey, some people are, taught you move like this, and you can be the one person to say, oh no, I don't want to move like that. Like, okay, you can be the first millionaire in your family, or you can go and do this over here and live paycheck to paycheck. So um it's different, it's different viewpoints or perspectives that you can flip on not being so negative to a certain point. Um,
Mhm.
and I just feel like, sometimes we need to make ourselves, say, you know what, it's not all about me at the end of the day, in a sense. Um, I know for me, like I said, going to a recent event, it made me think, I love to see the older siblings, remaining siblings. I really didn't care about anybody else, seeing anybody else. I wanted to see them.
Mhm.
I wanted to see my grandfather's siblings. It's only three of them, three of them left. So with that being said, out of X amount of siblings, when you go from 10 or more siblings down to three, you know, it makes you, it should make you value family more, in a sense. One of my main things I want to touch on this too. One of my aunts, she called me, um, she called me about 3 months ago, and I haven't seen my aunt since my grandfather passed in 2017, or yeah, my grandfather and grandmother. So 2022, she calls me, and I didn't pick up the phone, but she left me a voicemail. So, and she's older. So I'm just like, man, she got my phone number and she was able to call me. I'm going to call her back.
Mhm.
And it was a good conversation. Like, India, I was thinking about you and I just wanted to check on you and make sure that you and the kids were good and all of that. And I know I haven't seen you, but I just want you to know that I love you, in a sense. And I feel like you need those conversations. Like when people call you, older people call you need to pick up that phone, because
Mhm.
when you when they're gone, you are going to miss those phone calls. And I think we kind of take things for granted. I know my aunt told me, she was just like, I call other people and they won't pick up the phone. And I was just like, what? Like, that tells me that we don't value family as we should at the end of the day. And I don't like that. I love all of my family on the different sides, but I feel like we got to come together more in a sense. We got to support one another more. We got to love each other more, be more kind to each other. And like I said, if it just starts with us, um then it can grow into something else. It can make other people comfortable with coming. Like if we accept other people, meaning if they're not comfortable coming to a family event and we say no, come. And it's just like, we're not judging you. Don't worry about them other people. We're just telling you to come so that we can have a good time. We gonna make sure that you straight. I feel like more of us need to do that.
I just I agree. I feel like there's a lot of assumptions that some of us have that, like you said, like they're going to be judged or they're not going to be accepted, or they don't it's the fear of the unknown. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, or I feel like I haven't talked to these people, nobody's going to remember me, or or what they're going to say, or all this other stuff. And it's kind of like, we don't know what we don't know, and you're not going to know unless you go, or unless you address it, right? And I feel like it's difficult, and I feel like when it comes to family, sometimes uh we do a lot of avoiding. I feel like there's probably some things that are going on between family members that are not being addressed, and it's just being bottled, and it causes a disturbance in the matrix. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it has a ripple effect. Because I mean, if my parental unit has an issue, does that also become my issue? Or my parental unit or whatever has an issue with this family member, and then it's difficult because now you talk about loyalty. Well, I mean, it's not really a thing, but it's like loyalty of like
Who you siding with?
who you
Better
who
not
is
talk your thing.
or not even who you siding with, but like, if I go visit and you talk to me about something, but it's not me. Y'all need to talk about that. Not like, kind of like undercover conversations of telling me like issues or this, whatever. Like, third party is not what is not going to help unless y'all, unless they talk. And then, I mean, that might not always be the issue. And I just feel like it's some conversations that need to be had, or some misunderstandings that are going on, and just need to have a conversation to clear the air or whatever sometimes. And I also feel like, and I think I talked about this before, I also feel like uh you know our our cousins or siblings or whatever, they're all becoming the elders of their family. You know what I mean? So it's different. Priorities are different, responsibilities are different, so
I can relate to it. I mean, it took me a minute to go to a family event. It took me 5 years to go to a family event because I was hot. I was running hot, you know, and I was uncomfortable because I knew if I went to a family event, I'm not gonna sit here and smile and act like everything's cool. I mean, I can't do that. So I can agree. If you have a problem with someone, then it would be best to talk to that person. I know I'll say this, not to go full deep into it, but um it took me a minute to talk to my own dad. Years, you know. And then I was just like, you know what? I would hate for something to happen and I haven't talked to him. And these things happen every day. And we had to go through our rough patches of, okay, I let you back in, but you still talking crazy. So I'm gonna let you know right now. And you talk crazy like that again, we gonna be done with communicating. And I'm so serious. Like,
Mhm.
because again, you need to set boundaries. And if you don't set the boundaries, then people will run over top of you. So with that being said, it's no shade to family members. It's just that there are lines that cannot be crossed, and in relationships it shouldn't be anyway. And we had this thing of I was just talking with that conversation with our cousin a couple of days ago, and we were talking about not having conversations. Like when something happens, it's almost like for some people it's like, don't talk about it, it didn't happen, let's move on. But I'm a person, I have to talk about it. If we had an issue or we have an issue, like I feel like it's unresolved and I need to get it out, because I'm not gonna feel right around you. It means I can't trust you. So to me anyway. So I just feel like communication is the key in a sense. Um,
Mm.
you gotta learn how to communicate properly. You don't have to cuss nobody out, yell, scream, or whatever. That's one key point that is important. You can speak your piece and not go full off. One thing that I learned in 2022, you don't gotta you don't gotta go off the handle. Say what you gotta say. People respect that more, is what I learned in the last month. They respect you when they assume that you're gonna go off and you don't. You just speak your piece and you keep it moving and leave it at the table where it's supposed to be. Leave it wherever it is. Speak your piece, say what you gotta say, get it all out, and you'll be at peace. You can move how you want to move then. That's how I am at this point. So
Yeah, I mean, if you just, I feel like you just gotta frame the conversation at the beginning. Like, look, I want to have this conversation. I'm not trying to have an argument, right? I just want to have a mature, respectful conversation about something that's on my mind or on my heart, and I just want to air it out,
yeah.
and like, and then when we're done, we can move forward. Like, just like boundaries. Just set some boundaries at the beginning of the conversation. Like, look, I just want to have this conversation. I just want to air something out. It's not about judgment or anything like that. Like, I just want to air something out because I think there's some misunderstanding or miscommunication, or I feel some type of way, and I want to clarify and see if I'm justifying what I'm feeling, and then maybe we can discuss it, we can collaborate, and then we can move forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it all is. But it's just, I just feel like there's like assumptions of like, if I have this conversation, it's going to become a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And, that's maybe that's not always. I mean, that's not always the case.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And like, just having a conversation, just talking it out, and make sure you frame it. You can't, if you just go into a conversation, like maybe it could get worse if you don't frame it right. At the beginning, and like, but just conversations and clear the air. Like, I've learned that because of the position that I'm in. We learned that a lot. Like, so many things could be solved or resolved if you just conversate, just have a conversation, just talk about it. But you got to be respectful, right? Both parties, you have to be respectful, and you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes, and you know what I'm saying, you don't have to agree, but at least have the conversation and be like, there's nothing wrong with agreeing to disagree. But if you can see the other person's point of view, and you'd be like, I understand where you come from. I may not agree, but I understand where you come from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, you can come to some type of agreement or some collaboration where like, all right, well, I can, we can tweak this, or I'm glad we had that conversation. I understand where you come from.
Yeah. I think with you taking your mediation courses and me just going through that, it's just like it makes you go into a room differently. It makes you talk differently when you're talking to people. Once you go through, okay, let's hear your side, let's hear your side. Let's come together and see what we can do to resolve the issue? You know, what
Mhm.
solutions do we have possible? And like you said, look at the viewpoint from their side, not just your side, because it's just like, you know, you may be looking at it like it's me, you know, you're leaving me out here by myself, and it may not be that. So, you know, I wouldn't even say selfish in a sense, but um slightly selfish in some cases of when you don't take into account of their viewpoint. Um,
Mhm.
so, you know, like I said, you got to be patient with talking to people, and your intent should not go into, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna cuss them out, and I'm gonna get up and leave. And it's
You'd
just
be
like,
surprised. So many like uh I've like I heard this and it made me thought, but it was like, I tried to go talk to them. No, you attempted to interact with them just so you could say, I tried, but you had no real intentions of really having a conversation and clearing the air and coming to some type of resolution.
you know, that is true. A lot of people operate like that, cuz like I'll say this. In the last month, in one of my meetings that I had, somebody sat across from me and they said, I don't want to be in a meeting anymore with her. And it's just like, well, what was your intent on talking for? What did you come here for? If you didn't want, you're saying you don't want to deal with me anymore. And it's just like, okay, so now that you don't want, now I know that you don't want to deal with me. Now I got to piss you off. Cause it's just like, you know, it's just like, come on now. Like, can we be adults? You know,
Mm,
in a sense, to come together at a table and discuss our issues that, like, what's wrong with that?
nothing.
People run away from it like, oh, I don't want to have this conversation. I don't like to talk to them. It's just like, no, you don't like to talk to them because you're not getting your way at the end of the day. So you got to get out of your own way. If we handling business, then you need to be handling business. And you can't get
Mhm.
mad because you have a doctorate degree and I have a bachelor's degree. And I'm outsmarting you. So you got to get yourself in order, get out of your feelings. And that's exactly what I said. You can't talk to me because you have talked down to me because you have a doctorate degree. And you think I have a high school diploma.
Mm,
You need to check yourself.
mm. Biases, biases. You get it. If you're not able to check your biases, you're not gonna. It's
You're not
not
gonna
gonna.
get.
No, you're not gonna have a healthy conversation. You're just gonna stick to your biases. That's what. Anyway.
That's a whole nother topic. We got a lot this season, upcoming season. You know, just
Damn.
I say, just give me a few months. Give me a few months to get through the stuff that I need to get through because it's been very eye opening, a good learning lesson for me. I have been extremely patient within this process, and I thank you for being patient with me. Because it's just like, man, what in the world? Like, we have a lot of problems in the world, but we can't complain about it. We got to do something about it at the end of the day. We see something wrong, if we can help fix it, then I think we need to. But going back to family, I think we need to come together more. And we should not wait on a family reunion to come on home and visit your family or whatever. Like I want to get us to the point where as cousins in this generation, if we can take a real cousin trip. I don't need no kids. I'm just saying, you know, and if I do, it'll be Jay. But yeah.
Look, I I feel what you're saying. Now, point of view, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and sometimes cousin's trip, right? Cousin's trip. Uh, it becomes it becomes it becomes one sided, and I've realized this because I've moved away,
Mhm.
right? And we've talked about this before, but like uh sometimes individuals just feel like, can someone or can the family come to me sometime?
Mhm.
Why is it that every time we talk about getting together, we have to come back to the home state? You know what I mean? And I realized that. Now I early years I know why we came back, because there was an anchor that everybody came back to. But once we lost that anchor, there was nothing to pull everybody back.
Yeah.
So, and then it's like, why can't we? Why? Because it's a lot to come back, especially for those who have family. It gets expensive.
It is expensive.
You know what I mean? It becomes time consuming.
Mhm.
So I get it, but also I feel like sometimes it gets a little one sided. Of like, can we can we please branch out and go to
Somewhere.
see family? You know what I mean? Like, please, because like you know, I I'm I'm trying to get out to see Uncle Steve.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like he comes home a lot, but like how many times has
Has
anybody
everybody.
finished it out?
Yeah, that's one of my mom's goals this year. In the next couple of months, she wants to go out there and see him. So
You know what I mean?
make that happen.
So like, come on, like, let's venture out.
Yeah.
Let's venture out, please. Cousin's trip, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But it's coming back to the home state. Like, what are we gonna do?
Go
Barbecue and that's it.
go to
There
Killing
ain't nothing else there. You know what I mean? Like we got family in other states, and we are, you talk about taking trips. There's family out here in these other states
Mhm.
that we can go see, and you probably get room and board if you go visit.
Yeah. I just got cussed out within the last hour from a family member.
Oh,
Because I went to North Carolina and I was
oh,
5 minutes away and they were like, "What are you doing?" So it's just like no, it wasn't no shade, but I'm just saying we gotta catch you on the next time around. But yeah, we gotta start taking into consideration of traveling and getting out of our own way. I know I saw a cousin a week ago and he was just like, India, like what where are we going for this cousin trip? He's all in and I know he's all in,
mm,
but it's like, how are we gonna get other cousins to come in? And I have hundreds of cousins on different sides. So
look,
then
it's
you get
then you
into
go ahead.
that planning and all of that schedules. So yeah, we'll
Look,
see.
here's what I come. You have to take uh the thinking part out of it.
Mhm.
You have to take the planning part out of it. Somebody has to plan it and just be like, here's the plan.
Yeah,
Because if because just saying, hey, we want to do a cousins trip. Well, who's planning it? Where are we going? See, well, where are we going for this cousins trip? No, nobody wants to plan it. Nobody wants. They all want to do it, but
Yeah.
nobody wants to plan it. They
Hmm.
just want to show up,
Yeah.
or they want to be told what to do, or what's
It's
the plan.
like they say, some of that stuff doesn't leave that group chat, you know. So
I'm telling you, because when you be like, "Hey, I want to go to South Africa December this year," I'm down. You got 50 people saying I'm down. January 2023,
mhm.
June 2023, you got about 15 people who's yeah, I'm down, I'm good. And then September 2023, you got about 5 people who still say they down.
Then they go down to two in the last
And
what 2 weeks.
and there ain't nobody going
Yeah. So what did they just have over there in the
over
last week over there in Africa where everybody was at? Meek Mill was over there. It was a whole bunch of people.
That's the first time I'm hearing about that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that one.
I meant to ask you that too.
Now
Um,
I'm about to go research it.
yeah, I wanted to know what it was because I know one of my cousins, she went over there not last year. I think it was the year before that during this time. I thought it was this time. It was something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She went over there a couple of times. Um again, self-care trips. You don't need nobody to go with you. And if you do, you take a couple people or whatever. But yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's yo. I when I went years ago. I was in high school when I went, and
Yeah,
I had an amazing time. And I've been trying to get back ever since, and I just haven't dedicated. But I want to go, and I'm ready to go.
really.
Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to South Africa. I went to Senegal back when I was in high school. I had a great time. I went in February.
That's where the money is.
I went in February, and I was in the hotel pool.
Really?
Oh yeah, hotel pool outside in February in Africa.
Really? Yeah, I know about the people over there.
You know what I'm saying? I came back and had to put on baklava and gloves and Vaseline and greased up. You know what I mean? Scarves.
Oh my God.
I had to put my Timbs back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
everybody thinks you keep believing this propaganda that they're displaying, thinking that this is how Africa is. It's
Not
totally different. It's not what you think it is. And I mean, there's some countries that you need to be wary of, but
yeah.
there's some really good countries over there that you need to go visit. And it's a different experience. I mean, seeing you,
Mm-hmm. I know it is.
see the majority of you,
Mm-hmm.
it's different.
I just was telling the family member that called me earlier about the experience when we went to NC State, the basketball game last week. And it was something that we live in Delaware, of course, but it's just like, when you are the outsider going in, meaning it was only a couple of us, and
Mm.
we were looked at like, what are you doing here? Because you don't belong here at all. So I was kind of taken back because I was just like, whoa, like where is that energy coming from? But people are saying, that's normal in North Carolina, in that area. I
Uh,
didn't know that. I didn't know that, but now I know. Um, but it's just like, you know, it's different from America and Africa. I know it is. And a lot of people are moving over to Africa. A lot of people that I see, they want that dual citizenship. So, you know, I don't know. I got to see it for myself. Definitely. So it's on my bucket list.
there's travel groups out here that I got a friend. She's part of this travel group or this company that like plans travels. It's like group travel. And she's been on a few trips and like she went to I forget where she went, but she went to Africa somewhere. And but yeah, it's just, I mean, because it's inexpensive because it's a large group of people that's going. So they plan this trip, and if you want to go, they only have they have a certain amount of slots,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a group of people who goes on these trips to different places. You know what I mean? So you don't have to, yeah, and it's cheaper. And I have a friend that's a travel agent.
Hmm.
So like, if I tell my friend, I was like, hey, I want to group travel. She does group travels, and she'll hook it up. You know what I mean? So if we want to do that's my planner right there. If we want to do a cousins trip, all we need is a destination.
Well,
And I tell my friend, huh?
do Vegas. Vegas, December 2023.
I'll let her know. I just need a number if
Yeah.
everybody wants to go.
Um, one of our cousins, are you on, is it Live Be Deal? Are you on that page?
I don't know what that is.
One of our cousins, a Tolson cousin, he has his own travel group. And I want to say they go to Colombia a lot.
Hmm.
Don't ask me who his parents are because I don't know. But he is on our page. I want to say Akeem. You have Akeem on Facebook?
I don't think I do.
No, really. Yeah, he's been doing that for a while.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, and for cheap flights going over there. So, um, yeah, that's something else we need to look into because it looks nice over there too.
Hmm. Colombia, Costa Rica. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm down. Jamaica, Dominican Republic.
all of that. Blue water. I got to have it in my life. Tearing me apart reading about them. It's almost like these concerts. And let's close out probably with this. I'm so tired of all of these concert listings. Okay. If you want to take all my money, just say that. But I gotta see Keith. I gotta see Guy. I would like to see Anita Baker. I would like to see Music Soul Child, Kim, Literacy, but I can't get everybody. I want to see who else? Jill, but I saw Jill before. So it's just like, come on, like what is going on? Why is everyone going on tour at the same time? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Tear me
I
out.
don't know. And then when you sent me that thing about Outcast, yeah.
I got to be in Atlanta for that. If it goes down,
I don't.
gotta be in place in Atlanta because when I was down there for One Music Fest with Jeezy, the way that they acted with Jeezy, those fans, the vibe, that vibe is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Once Big Boy and Three Stacks go on that stage, I just want to be in the wherever.
Yeah. I don't. You got to be quick on the trigger for Atlanta
I know
because
it's gonna be expensive.
but not expensive, but it's not gonna last long. They gonna sell out quick if Outcast does something, especially in Atlanta.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of they have an older fan club that's been waiting.
Mhm.
We have been waiting for Outcast,
For a long
and
time.
I'm waiting for Big Boy and Andre to clear up whatever it is between them, and for Andre to get out these streets with his didgeridoo. I heard traveling around the country with his didgeridoo,
They said he was in Philly.
walking around,
Like it's
chilling. Don't even know if it's him or not. Like you got people out here like
They knew.
double taking, like it was that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if they, I'm telling you, I was mad. I was trying to go see Wu Tang last year.
Were you?
Wu Tang, yeah, they had Wu Tang did a short tour. It was like it wasn't a whole bunch of cities, but it
Yeah.
was like Wu Tang and plus they had who did they have with them? I can't remember. But like
Nas was on that
it was Nas.
because I have a relative that went to the out to St. Louis. It
Mm,
said it was a lot of, I mean, it was packed of older people.
yes, because that's our generation. That's what we grew up with, listening to Wu Tang. So you know what I mean? It's not that was early hip hop.
I would have lost my
There was a
mind.
lot of young, you know what I mean? We was so there's a lot. There's first of all, like we supposed to end this, but um, you gotta think about it. Like hip hop is young. Hip hop is young, so you know there's conversations that keep happening about like why hip hop isn't had longevity. It doesn't have longevity because it's not long. It hasn't been around long enough to have longevity. So so there's no there's no baseline of like these early artists that was coming out in the 80s and the 90s, you know what I'm saying? And there's this stigmatism that after a certain time you fall off.
Yeah,
And it's just like, no, you're not falling off. You know what I'm saying? That's just the industry trying to, put a ceiling on hip hop. They're trying to put a ceiling on hip hop so that way, you know, they don't learn the business and they're trying to keep these young artists that are coming in this cycle. But they're if all they have to do is say they're coming out and we're going to come out. If you say you're going on tour, we're going to come out, we're going to come see you. There's we just need you to come and do it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It, it's it's something. We're still waiting on Jermaine Dupri and Diddy. Diddy, you need to get off that boat and get back over here so we can get this thing moving. I don't know what is going on with verses.
I I don't think I think Versus is losing its luster.
Yeah, because the whole situation, you know, I get certain viewpoints, but at the same time, y'all had a good thing going there for a minute. You had us locked in,
Because
and
everybody was sitting at home.
yeah, but still, we can like we're waiting. Like a lot of us are waiting for that Diddy and Jermaine Dupri, another situation where are the tickets at? Because we need to get them. I would like to be in there at Mercedes Benz or State Farm, wherever y'all gonna have it. I would like to be in there. But if it's a matter of those tickets have a liking coming from Atlanta, we're gonna pump Jay's account up and look, I'm already thinking ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, plays no games about this foolishness. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, what concerts we are going to attend this year. I love to have a good time. I love to be around my people. Um and just sing and rap. If y'all don't
yeah,
do that, you need to get your life together. You know, I love me a good concert.
yeah. I'm telling you. I had a couple friends of mine who went to go see Red and Map.
Nothing like it. No comparison, stage presence. They gonna keep you on your toes, standing up the whole time.
It's nostalgia.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it's memories. I'm
We don't,
telling you, memory. We gotta do that. We gotta figure out this cousin versus that we're gonna do. I'm telling you, there's
first of
certain
all, we need to figure out, are we just setting it to 98 through 20?
no,
2002. Like what? Like we got to
Nah,
figure it out because
you
it's so
look.
much that I
It,
wrote.
it is. It is. Look, I'm telling you, because when I started the list, and I was just putting down songs, and then like I'll go for a ride, and like I'll just and then oh, and then it's like now my list is like trying to pick the top 20, and it's just like
It's I
it's
don't know
it's,
if I can do it.
it's
It's
hard.
something that is key to my heart. Like,
I'm telling you, it's crazy. There's an intro on a certain record or certain artist, and I can tell you, I'm telling you, I flash back to exact moment when I first heard that intro. I mean, I can vividly see it. Just thinking about it right now, that intro on that album, I
yeah,
can vividly see where I was at, what I was doing, who I was with.
mm, crazy memories. No,
Telling
no comparison. But I just don't know. That was giving me anxiety too. I don't know why it was like I was working for verses. I'm just like, wait a minute. I left off Foxy. I left off Little Kim.
you.
Like so many women. I was just going hard on men, but
Yeah, yeah. It's
like you know,
to go. I'm telling you, like to go back and listen to like some of these female artists,
mhm,
and was like, yeah, why, why? Like
it's
no
crazy.
comparison, no comparison.
No comparison at all.
Like yo yo, Lady Rage, like no comparison.
Missy. I left
Yeah,
off Missy.
it's too. It's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So, we gotta do it, you know.
You gotta put these boundaries on here.
But I gotta put I gotta
We got filter. We gotta put filters on.
yeah, yeah, we definitely got to because man, it's just like what in the world? Red Man, um, I don't know. Meth got up in the list, high up in the list. I was just like, you know what? I got to put that on there because that's like the go-to.
Shit, I'm telling you, like, it's it's gonna be crazy. Because then like and then I branched out and I started thinking about West Coast,
Hmm.
South, the Midwest,
Yeah.
the UK.
Mm.
Mm.
I think I got a UK on there too. She still got the accent too. I think she's from UK. I gotta look that up. But she's still on my everyday list. Like
Mm.
I keep saying, you know, I just get in the car like you, and like I just want to listen to my music. Like that's one thing I do miss going to work. Having my own concert in my car, like you know,
That's
I,
what that's why I told you to take them walks in the morning. You take them walks in the morning and you put that earphone in and you listen.
it'll work. Anne Marie is still hitting like it's 2002.
Trying
Like,
to show your legs off. You ain't Anne Marie.
oh man,
Nobody show their legs off like Anne Marie.
yeah, she still got it.
Mm,
Yeah, so we definitely gonna do that too soon.
for
Just
sure.
trying to cut it down. I just don't know. You know, I don't want to miss anyone.
All right. Well, we'll figure out some filters if we got to figure out some filters.
Yeah, you
Uh,
don't have to. Shoot.
but yeah.
It was good tonight. Really, really good. Always a good.
Uh, well, look, hey, we came out beginning of the year. We had no topic. We just came out here and talked. we was trying to figure out a topic, and we was like, yeah, it's too much we want to talk about. We didn't know what we want to talk about, so we just came on here and we just talked. Just had a good conversation.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good conversation. I liked it. But I appreciate the conversations. I enjoy it. I like it. It's another form of therapy for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you see this little TikTok buddy of mine in the back, yeah,
I saw
yeah,
every time he walked by.
it's out of control.
Final thoughts.
I'm excited about 2023. I want to be more intentional with what I say this year. Um, because everything that probably came out of my mouth last year came about in what should I say, a different way. So yeah, I'm excited to grow more as a person. I'm excited to do my work as a person, um, to set my boundaries and to fulfill them, to be a better mom and all of that. Better aunt. I'm getting ready to be a god aunt. So we're gonna have a new baby in June. And it's just like I'm just so excited. I haven't had a baby in a long time, you know. I'm already saying it's mine. So look at right. So yeah, my guy daughter is expecting and I'm happy about her growing up, and one of my nieces is graduating in June. I'm excited about that too. So a lot of excitements going on over here for this year.
Okay, nice. Uh yeah, I'm in the final chapter of this army book. I'm about to close this book out. I'm retiring this year. I'm so looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for a while. I'm ready. I've been processing like what avenue I'm going to take post army. I have multiple ideas or things I want to do, and I just need to focus on how I want to execute and what I want to execute on. Uh, I'm looking forward to these. I'm looking forward to interacting with family, interacting with cousins, reconnecting with some cousins, uh, doing this cousin trip. I think we've been talking about it, and I'm looking forward to doing it. And I also, since it's the beginning of the year, and usually a lot of people would talk about what they're gonna do or what's they're looking forward or focusing on what's next. Uh, I feel like 2023 is not gonna be a smooth year.
Mm.
Uh, if you're if you pay attention or if you're looking at what's going on, or if you're seeing things or want to understand what's you should understand what's going on. And I think 2023 is not going to be a smooth year. I think it's going to be a I don't want to say rough year, but it's not going to be it's going to be bumpy. Uh from the things that I've been seeing, like uh the labor force is changing. It has been changing. It's changing even more. Robots are being used a lot more. Uh, especially like the McDonald's. There's a fully automated McDonald's in Texas.
Mm.
The only people that's working in there is people who are cooking the food, but there's nobody taking your order. There's nobody in the drive-through. It's fully automated. So like things are changing, and if you think that you're gonna work, find these jobs or And everybody's, talking about the minimum wage and raising the minimum wage, but we're in a technology heavy era, and uh corporations, businesses, they're looking for ways to not pay people. They're looking for ways to increase profit. And machines don't take breaks. They don't ask for wages. They don't have sick days. They just keep working. So you need to start looking at what is needed and how can I enter into that space.
Yeah.
Housing market is going to look different this year.
Mm-hmm.
The housing market is starting to change already. It's starting to change into a buyer's market. It's getting away from a seller's market. These interest rates are high.
Yeah.
And, people are not buying. Properties are starting to stay on the market longer. Prices are starting to drop on properties. More people are renting and not buying. So if you figure you're gonna get top dollar for your house, like it's not gonna be you're not gonna get them top dollars like you was in 20 and 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and they like they're continuously still out here building new houses. I don't know who they building it for, and but they're building new houses, and a lot of houses are right now. There's a large number of houses that are owned, but they don't live in. It's an investor. There's a lot of investor owned properties out here, and so that's something else that need to be looking at this year. And investing. I think that I've seen like the S&P had its lowest in like years this
Really?
past year. And 20, yeah.
Okay.
In 22, the S&P 500 had like its lowest year because they're known for averaging 10% a year, and I don't think they hit 10% in 22. So and plus a lot of stocks split in 22, and after they split, uh they kind of came down even more on their prices. So if you're looking to invest, do your research and look into some of these companies, because at some point, eventually, they're going to rebound, but they're low, they're cheap, just like it was in 2020, kind of. So if you're looking to get into the market and buy some stocks, you got to do your research and figure out, what price you want to buy some of these investing um, investing in some of these companies. But it's need to look at getting into an investment. Need to look at other streams of income.
Definitely. Uh, what is it? Money comes to me easily, frequently, and abundantly. Keep saying that. Our Instagram friend, Doug,
Mm.
the houses. I love that phrase. And if you say it enough times, if you write it down, if you believe it and you're confident in it, it will definitely come to you. So that's what I keep saying, for it to come back to me. So yeah. Yep. I would agree. Definitely look into those stocks, because it's another great stream of income. You can set up an account for your kids, and buy those great stocks now, those lifelong stocks. I would consider them like a Disney or Amazon. Not saying that Amazon will be around forever, but Disney right now, nobody
The
stops going to Disney.
way I see these Amazon Prime trucks rolling around here, I don't see it going nowhere no time soon.
Oh
There's a
man.
lot of people who did a lot of Christmas shopping through Amazon.
Let,
They
let's
ain't wrapping they either wrap the Amazon box or they just put the Amazon box under the tree.
don't judge us,
I'm just saying.
because I threw it right down there.
See, look, put it right under the tree, Amazon Prime. You just wrote the name of whoever it was supposed to be.
I ain't write no name.
Just pick a
Figure it out.
box.
Yeah.
Just pick a box, and we'll figure out who it's supposed to go to after you open it. That's crazy. I'm telling you, I had a couple friends said they did all they Christmas shopping on Amazon, and
Really?
they just put the box under the tree.
What?
Like, once y'all open it, we'll figure out whose gift it is.
Yeah. Pastor said y'all better stop reporting those packages as stolen too and restricting them. I was like, Pastor, stop it.
Oh man.
So yeah. Yeah, Amazon is definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. They're running all day early. So
Yeah.
yes.
Mm. Well, all right. It's been real. It's been good. Cousins, thank y'all for tuning in. As always, please uh like, share, comment, uh give us your thoughts. And we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we'll continue to be consistent.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we'll catch you on the flip.
We'll see y'all next time.
Later.